Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out the History of Morgoth compilation, Tolkien Explained by Nerd of the Rings. Yes guys, this was recommended to me by our Prefect Fyr, so big thank you to you Fyr. Appreciate the recommendation as always, good sir. And yeah, I don't really know much about Morgoth at all. I don't know much about Lord of the Rings in general. I've talked about this in the past few Lord of the Rings videos. To my knowledge, Sauron is essentially a lieutenant of Morgoth, and Morgoth is like the fucking root of all evil, essentially, in Lord of the Rings. I don't really know too much more about him other than that, other than the fact that he's basically this universe's version of like Satan, essentially. Like he is the evil, right? Like he's where all other evil comes from, kind of thing. I don't know anything about his creation. I don't know what exactly he is, what race he is, I guess. We're gonna find out quite a bit here today. Of course, if you guys enjoy, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe for more content from me. Of course, leave your recommendations down in the comments below. Big thank you to all of our members, all of our study, our Principe, Dagenhart, of course, our Prefects Fyr and Hobbit. Appreciate you guys. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And with that, guys, I say we not waste any more time. We check this out, the History of Morgoth compilation by Tolkien Explained. I do have pen and paper. I am going to be writing stuff down. I hear there's quite a bit to learn in this video, so let's leave a like. Captions are on. Quality is 1440p. We love it when we see it full screen. Without any further delay, let's get it.
Melkor, the original Dark Lord of Middle-earth.
Melkor.
After sowing discord in the creation of the world, he goes on to wreak havoc upon its inhabitants. Today on Nerd of the Rings, we begin our look at the entire life of Tolkien's most evil and most powerful Dark Lord.
Okay.
In the beginning, Eru Ilúvatar, the god of Tolkien's world, creates the Ainur, that is the Valar and the Maiar. Melkor is among the Valar, and the mightiest of them all. In his impatience to fill the void with created life, he searches throughout the void for the flame imperishable, the mysterious power of Eru that allows him to create and give life. Melkor is unable to locate the flame imperishable, as it is not located in the void, but with Eru himself. You're likely familiar with the other name for the flame imperishable, the secret fire, which Gandalf references during his fight with the Balrog. As Melkor wanders through the void, he comes to have ideas different than those of the other Ainur. He grows rebellious against Eru and wishes to create life himself. Without the flame imperishable, however, he is unable to create life, but can merely corrupt and twist it, as we will see later. When it comes time for the creation of...
Not to like pause right off the bat here, but that seems like a very, very easy correlation to make between... you know, I kind of mentioned it right off the bat there. He's kind of like this universe's version of Satan. Seems a lot like, almost like God, like, yeah, banishing, I guess, Satan to the afterworld, to hell, right? I don't really know a whole lot about the Christian text, I guess. You know, I read a bit of the Bible. I'm not too knowledgeable on it, so I don't want to misspeak entirely. But from what I've heard, right, he can only corrupt life. So that's like the Garden of Eden, right, essentially, where you have like the corruption of humans, right, to that extent, right? Seems very kind of similar in my mind a little bit right off the bat here.
Corrupt and twist it, as we will see later. When it comes time for the creation of the universe, the Ainur make a great music. At this time, Melkor weaves his own thoughts into his song, which clashes with the theme of Ilúvatar. This causes some of the Ainur around him to change their music to his. For a time, the theme of Ilúvatar and the discord of Melkor battle one another. Eru smiles and sends forth a second theme. Most of the Ainur join this new theme, but Melkor opposes it even more violently with his discord. Finally, shocked at what they are witnessing, many of the Ainur stop singing and Melkor's discord gains the upper hand. Eru then begins a third theme, sweeter and more beautiful than the previous two. This theme cannot be beaten by Melkor. Still, he opposes the music of Eru. Finally, Eru stops the music completely with a single chord of his own. As we read in the Silmarillion, the music ceased. Then Ilúvatar spoke, and he said, "Mighty are the Ainur, and mightiest among them is Melkor, but that he may know, and all the Ainur, that I am Ilúvatar. Those things that ye have sung, I will show them forth, that ye may see what ye have done. And thou, Melkor, shalt see that no theme may be played that hath not its uttermost source in me, nor can any alter the music in my despite. For he that attempteth this shall prove but mine instrument in the devising of things more wonderful, which he himself hath not imagined. Melkor is shamed and angered by this rebuke, but hides his feelings. As the Ainur see the work of their song, Melkor is among those who beg Eru to allow them to enter Arda. Melkor pretends to have a desire to guide the world and its inhabitants for Eru's glory, but secretly, he desires to dominate Arda and its creatures, especially the forthcoming Children of Iluvatar, that is, the elves and men. Along with the other Valar, Melkor enters Ea, the created universe, and makes his way to Arda, the world. After they arrive, Melkor drops his facade, declaring to the other Valar that he is now master of Arda. Manwë, who is Melkor's brother, fears that Melkor will attempt to disrupt their labors in Arda, and calls forth more Ainur to protect them. Melkor leaves, making his way to the remote regions of Ea. As the Valar work to form Arda,
So I want to say too, this is definitely like some very, very early lore in Lord of the Rings, right? Like this is some very, very early shit. This is how the world looks at this time. This is very, very fucking different from what we know. This is like some god level shit, if I had to assume, right? And you can definitely see that, right? Like this is kind of like the formation, right, of Lord of the Rings as we know it, and I'm assuming with the world as a whole here. My only like I guess sorry, I have to sneeze there. My only comparison that I could really make with this would be like almost like the old Greek pantheon, right? With like the Titans, essentially, right? The Titans and then the gods after that. These guys are essentially Titans, and then Sauron would be like a god, but these are the fucking big boys that came before them, kind of thing. Like these are like the grand pappies, if you will, you know, of the world, I think, as a whole. Man, let's keep watching here. This is a lot to take in. I'm not gonna really have too much to say about this. It's just gonna be mostly a lot of listening, but this is interesting for sure.
To the remote regions of Ea. As the Valar work to form Arda, Melkor seeks to destroy or taint anything they create.
Right.
He demolishes their mountains, razes their valleys, and spills their seas. Aule's works are among the most affected by Melkor's deeds. After uncounted battles and years pass, news reaches the Ainur, who remained with Eru. Hearing of the war, Tulkas, the most warlike of all the Valar, comes to Arda in the Valiant year 1499. Melkor flees before the laughter and anger of Tulkas, escaping beyond the walls of night. From that moment on, he will forever possess a hatred of Tulkas. Now I want to give some context for how time is measured during this age of the Earth.
Okay.
Valiant years equal just over 9.5 of our own years.
Jesus.
So from the Valar arriving in Arda in Valiant year 1 to Melkor fleeing in Valiant year 1499.
Holy fuck.
Over 14,000 years pass.
That's crazy.
As the remaining Valar work to restore Arda as best they can, Melkor dwells in the outer darkness.
Let me write that down.
The Valar complete Arda and raise up 2 lamps which give the world light. They dwell in a land called Almaren. Unfortunately, Melkor's power earns him a following among some of the Maiar, which at this time likely includes Sauron. Some act as his spies, and eventually, he meets with them as the Valar hold a feast after completing their work. It is at this feast that Tulkas marries Nessa. As Nessa dances before the Valar, Tulkas falls into a peaceful sleep. Melkor, looking down in hatred, decides his time to strike has come. Melkor and his followers come over.
You definitely see like the early level like shit coming into play here, and it's crazy to think that even Sauron was alive during this time. Like just how old fucking Sauron is. Like when you talk about like the great evil in Lord of the Rings, like holy fuck, like they've been here for a while. And I'm guessing like all this, like I don't believe any of this is like really stated in Lord of the Rings. I could be wrong, like the original trilogy. I think it's like mentioned in bits and pieces, but I think a lot of this like extra lore was added in like the Silmarillion and like the other like legends books I think that followed. I could be wrong. Somebody let me know on that though. I would be interested in knowing.
Decides his time to strike has come. Melkor and his followers come over the walls of night, returning to Arda. He delves deep into the earth, creating the fortress of Utumno in the Iron Mountains of the north. Evil flows from the fortress. Death and illness strike at the vegetation of Arda. Animals fight and kill one another, and the Valar come to realize
the Bambi start slaughtering one another.
The Valar begin to search for Melkor's hiding place, but the future Dark Lord strikes first. He comes to Almaren and destroys the city and the 2 lamps.
So these Valar are just like gods, right?
Of Iluin and Ormal, and cast down their pillars and broke their lamps. In the overflow of the mighty pillars, lands were broken and seas arose in tumult. And when the lamps were spilled, destroying flame was poured out over the earth. And the shape of Arda and the symmetry of its waters and its lands was marred in that time, so that the first designs of the Valar were never restored. As the world is filled with fire and water and chaos, Melkor escapes, returning to his fortress. The spring of Arda, what should have been a joyous occasion, ends in disaster, as the Valar must use all their power to hold the world together.
Interesting.
With their home destroyed, the Valar travel across the sea and come to a new land, Aman. There, they build the city of Valmar and create new sources of light, the 2
Very, very interesting. So that's kind of like the world-changing event, and that's kind of how you see the world kind of take shape. And it is still very much like flat, which is very interesting to see. And like magic, I guess, like now, like look how much water there is comparatively. Before there was just like a small like lake, I guess inland sea maybe in the middle. But now it's like, holy shit, the world is kind of like broken up. It's more of an archipelago, and it really kind of gives like credence to how big the world still is, right? Like when you see it like kind of on scale like that, you think, okay, maybe it's smaller, but now to see like, okay, this is the map now, and like this is a map that like kind of we know a little bit more of. Yeah, you see that it's just massive entirely. Wow.
Droid, the Valar
very cool to
travel
see.
Across the sea and come to a new land, Aman. There, they build the city of Valmar and create new sources of light, the 2 trees. This ushers in a new era for Arda, the years of the trees. These are measured in the same manner as Valian years, every year being 9.5 of our own.
Damn,
Once
dude.
we make our way into the first, second, and third ages, the years of Middle-earth are equal to our own. With the Valar
First, second,
now
and third
across the
ages,
sea,
okay.
Melkor is relatively free to roam Middle-earth, though some among the Valar appear in Middle-earth to thwart him as they are able. One is Ulmo.
It's crazy that by the first age you're caught up, you know what I mean?
Is
like what the
also
fuck?
mentioned as taking action in Middle-earth. And Orome, the huntsman, would ride throughout Middle-earth, delighting in hunting down and killing the monsters of Melkor. Believing the Valar might move against him, Melkor dwells in his fortress, building his strength and breeding monsters. He also gathers the Maiar who are loyal to him. These servants, cloaking themselves in shadow and flame, come to be known as Balrogs. During this
Interesting.
time, he also constructs the fortress of Angband, where he places his
So, and there's 4 Balrogs, right? So Gandalf killed one of them, right? Gandalf actually straight up 1v1s one of these fuckers eventually, way, way far into the future from now, right? But like, holy shit. That's interesting to know that these Balrogs are like direct servants of him. I had no idea of Morgoth. I had no idea.
themselves in shadow and flame, come to be known as Balrogs.
Right.
During this time, he also constructs the fortress of Angband, where he places his greatest servant, Sauron.
Okay.
In the year of the trees 1050, the first elves awake at Cuivienen. While the hunter Orome comes across them, so does Melkor. He racks the elves with fear, killing or capturing many in his time. Through the torture of his captives and other foul works, it is believed Melkor creates the race of orcs. After the Valar discover the elves, Manwë concludes it is the will of Eru to reclaim the lands of Middle-earth from Melkor.
So technically, orcs are creations made by Morgoth from elves. So they're captured elves that, yeah, that's kind of fucked up. Wow, damn. Weird. I thought orcs were their own, like, race, but no, I guess they were created from elves. Damn.
It is the will of Eru.
I guess that's kind of why they have similar features.
From Melkor. The Valar come to Middle-earth in the year of the trees 1090.
To a degree, right? Similar, but not, you know?
This massive war of the gods begins with an army of the West confronting Melkor's forces in the northwest of Middle-earth.
Okay.
The entire region is ruined by the battle. The Valar are victorious in this first battle as the servants of Melkor retreat to Autumno. For the next 2 years, the Valar place guards in the land around the Bay of Cuiviénen, protecting the elves who had first awakened there. The Valar lay siege to Melkor's fortress. From where they stand, far away from the conflict, the elves can see only fires in the north and feel a mighty shaking of the earth.
Holy
Finally,
shit.
In the year of the trees,
There's just like, yeah, man, it's straight up like a fucking Titan battle going on, right? Like they're coming in here, they're protecting like I don't know, it's weird to describe them because it's like, it's not even like gods versus Titans, right? It's like Titans versus Titans, right? But the Titans are intervening in a sense in this degree to protect like the races of Middle Earth, I guess, in this sense. In this case, the elves, right? The first to awaken. And elves don't even feel like mortal by like, you know, Tolkien standards to a degree, right? Like they are, but they aren't. They can die like to wounds and stuff, but I don't think they can really just die from age, to my knowledge, or at least it takes a fucking way longer time to do that. Very interesting, man. Wow.
A mighty shaking of the earth. Finally, in the year of the
Armageddon's happening in the north.
The Valar break the gates and roof of Autumno. Melkor hides in the deepest pits of his fortress, but Tulkas arrives and binds him in the chain Engainor, which Aule the smith had forged. While Autumno is destroyed in this final act, the Valar don't discover all the deepest, darkest places within. Sauron and many of the Balrogs manage to escape capture. In the aftermath of this long war,
more than 4 Balrogs then.
Changed.
Someone let me know exactly how many like Balrogs there are, how many servants of Morgoth. Oh my god, excuse me, of Morgoth there actually are. Because like, damn, seems like there can be quite a few. I mean, I thought 4 would be like, oh shit, okay, that's pretty titanic, given how powerful a Balrog is. I wonder maybe if they can spawn more, how exactly that works. Yeah, somebody let me know.
In the aftermath of this long war, Middle Earth is changed. New mountain ranges are raised up, the Great Sea becomes larger, and new lands and waterways take shape. The Valar drew Melkor back to Valinor, bound hand and foot and blindfold, and he was brought to the Ring of Doom. There, he lay upon his face before the feet of Manwë and sued for pardon. But his prayer was denied, and he was cast into prison in the fastness of Mandos, whence none can escape, neither Vala, nor elf, nor mortal man. Vast and strong are those halls, and they were built in the west of the land of Aman. There was Melkor doomed to abide for 3 ages long, before his cause should be tried anew, or he should plead again for pardon. So Melkor is imprisoned within the halls of Mandos, roughly 2,850 years. All the while, he plots his revenge. As this time passed...
You know, I'm just saying, 300 years for them, that's a long time, right? But given the circumstances of just what the fuck he did, that's not bad, you know? Honestly, it's kind of a slap on the wrist, given the fact that they could potentially live forever. 3,000 years, fucking sleep that off, you know what I mean? Like, wake up, start a new life, you know? You kind of blew up the fucking world as they knew it, guy. Like, this seems pretty, like, I'm just saying, all things considered, like, stop plotting, just, like, take it, you know what I mean? They're letting you off. They're not just going to execute your ass straight up. I don't even know if they can. Can you kill him, or is there a reason they're, like, capturing him, keeping him imprisoned? Someone let me know that.
50 years. All the while, he plots his revenge. As this time passes, many of the elves would come to dwell in Aman. This is a large topic in itself, so we'll cover it in a future video.
Okay.
After the 3 ages pass, Melkor is once again brought before his brother. Melkor bows down, prostrating himself once again before Manwë, begging for pardon. Manwë releases him from his captivity, much to the displeasure of Tulkas and Ulmo.
Interesting.
The Valar decree that he will not return to Middle-earth, instead staying in Aman, where they can keep watch on him. In secret, Melkor begins working to corrupt the elves, for whom he holds a grudge, as it was for their safety that...
So he actually served his sentence and then straight up just like went back to plotting. What a fucking idiot. It's like a repeat offender situation, guy. Like, what is this supposed to be? Come on now.
To corrupt the elves, for whom he holds a grudge, as it was for their safety that the Valar came to Middle-earth to overthrow him. As Melkor assesses the elves, he realizes the Vanyar, the elves that would forever dwell in Aman, do not trust him. The Teleri, who we remember as being known for their shipbuilding, Melkor deems too weak to be effective in his plans. In the Noldor, however, he finds a curious people who are eager to learn from the Valar, even himself. In the year of the trees 1169, one among the Noldor is born who would be Melkor's most bitter enemy, but also his greatest tool for his evil purposes. Feanor, the creator of the Palantiri, and most importantly, the Silmarils, 3 great gems which shone with the light of the 2 trees. Melkor begins to spread rumors throughout the Noldor. He tells of Middle-earth and its wide lands, realms they would be free to rule were it not for the Valar keeping them in Aman. This distrust of the Valar and desire...
You can definitely see that, like, that case of, like, how much knowledge is too much knowledge, and is too much knowledge good for a race, right? Because it just leads to corruption to an extent, right? Like, when you're willing to learn from anyone, no matter the cost, you know, yeah, they might not always have the best intentions for you. Sucks to see.
Were it not for the Valar keeping them in Aman. This distrust of the Valar and desire to rule takes hold in the hearts of many of the Noldor, especially Feanor. Melkor sows even more discord within the House of Finwë between Feanor and his younger half-brother, Fingolfin. Manipulating Feanor's pride and quick temper, Melkor convinces Feanor that Fingolfin plans to usurp his place as their father's heir and take the Silmarils from him. After Feanor threatens to kill Fingolfin in 1490, the Valar banish him to Formenos, where he takes the Silmarils as well. In solidarity, Finwë also moves to Formenos to be with his son. Realizing that Melkor was pulling the strings in this feud, Tulkas goes to imprison him, but finds him gone. 2 years of the trees later, Melkor reappears at Formenos.
So like 20 years almost?
To further
19 years?
Feanor. This time, however, Morgoth goes too far and Feanor recognizes Melkor for what he is. Feanor's heart was still bitter at his humiliation before Mandos, and he looked at Melkor in silence, pondering if indeed he might yet trust him so far as to aid him in his flight. And Melkor, seeing that Feanor wavered, and knowing that the Silmarils held his heart in thrall, said at the last, "Here is a strong place, and well guarded, but think not that the Silmarils will lie safe in any treasury within the realm of the Valar." But his cunning overreached his aim. His words touched too deep, and awoke a fire more fierce than he designed. And Feanor looked upon Melkor with eyes that burned through his fair semblance, and pierced the cloaks of his mind, perceiving there his fierce lust for the Silmarils.
Interesting.
Feanor slams the door in his face.
I mean, what he said there was pretty telling.
Once again.
I will say, with what he said there is pretty telling. It's just like, yeah, you want them, motherfucker? Like, yeah, no, like he kind of let it slip. He lost the script there a little bit, I won't lie. Like, what he said was kind of obvious, and at that point, it's just like, what did you just say? Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like...
Feanor slams the door in his face.
If he didn't see through that shit, it'd be like, damn.
Once again, making his way south to the Valley of Avathar.
Interesting, there's a sea over there as well.
A mysterious dark spirit which takes the form of a giant spider, Ungoliant. Melkor promises her rich reward for her assistance, and she weaves a cloak of shadow around Melkor and herself to hide them in their travels. In 1495, the Valar seek reconciliation with the Noldor, and between Feanor and Fingolfin. They all assemble in Valmar. Meanwhile, Melkor and Ungoliant make their way to the 2 trees. And in that very hour, Melkor and Ungoliant came hastening over the fields of Valinor, as the shadow of a black cloud upon the wind fleets over the sunlit earth. And they came before the green mound Ezelohar. Then the unlight of Ungoliant rose up even to the roots of the trees, and Melkor sprang upon the mound, and with his black spear he smote each tree to its core, wounded them deep, and their sap poured forth as if it were their blood, and was spilled upon the ground. But Ungoliant sucked it up, and going then from tree to tree, she set her black beak to their wounds, till they were drained, and the poison of death that was in her went into their tissues and withered them, root, branch, and leaf, and they died. The light of the trees
I must say, man, Who thought it was like? Oh, I know it was that one girl, right? What's her face? Shit, I forget her name here. It's gonna say it in a bit anyway. Fuck, why would they let Morgoth go like this? Like, he just seems like a fucker, and like, given what he did, he literally blew up the world, right? Like, I get it, like, you want to trust him, whatever have you, like, maybe you don't want to hate forever, but like, bro, this guy has proven that he's like not trustworthy and that he's going to fuck around. Like, this seems crazy to allow him to like just roam free like this, even on like their own land. You know what I mean? Like, to keep an eye on him. Yeah, you're doing a fucking shit job of that, clearly. Who's keeping an eye on him here? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't seem like anyone is.
Branch and leaf, and they died. The light of the trees extinguished, the world is once again plunged into darkness. After Ungoliant drinks the entirety of the wells of Varda, they go north to Formenos. There, Melkor kills Finwë and steals the Silmarils and other gems of Feanor. Ungoliant, who grows in size after consuming the sap of the two trees, flees with Melkor across the Helcaraxe and into Middle-earth. Once they arrive, Ungoliant, in her insatiable hunger, demands Melkor give her the treasure. Melkor, who is now very weak from his deeds, fears the monstrous spider.
Interesting.
Each of the gems of Feanor, as she in turn consumes each one. She then demands the Silmarils, but Melkor refuses. Ungoliant uses her webs to trap the Vala and nearly devours him. Melkor gives a great cry which summons the Balrogs from Angband. With their whips, they drive away Ungoliant and return their master to what remains of his old fortress. There,
interesting.
Melkor sets the
So that spider turned on him.
their master.
And not only that, then he basically called out for the Balrogs. Balrogs came and saved him. I wonder if that fucking giant spider, after drinking those trees dry like that, I imagine he probably would have put like a fight even for the Balrog. You know what I mean? If he summoned multiple Balrog to try to defeat this spider, this thing must have been truly titanic. Like, its size, right? And just exactly what it is. I wonder if it still exists in Middle Earth. Maybe we'll find out here a little bit more. If we don't, someone let me know like where that goes. You know, what exactly do we see that in lore at all? Like, or in any of the films, any of the books, anything like that? Someone let me know.
To what remains of his
if we don't
old
find
fortress. There, Melkor sets the Silmarils in an iron crown, which from that moment onward, he will never willingly remove. This despite the fact that the crown is a great burden to him. Back in Aman, Feanor returns to Formenos to find his father slain and the Silmarils gone. Feanor curses Melkor and gives him a new name, which the elves and men will forever know him by. A name meaning black foe or dark tyrant. The Vala Melkor is now known as the Dark Lord Morgoth.
Interesting. So that's how he gets his name.
Of the Noldor and leads many to Middle Earth.
They christen him
Morgoth,
then.
In his fortress of Angband, the Silmarils upon his crown, declares himself king of all the world. For
wow, what a proclamation.
Years, the elves and Morgoth would be at war.
Wow.
After his return to Middle Earth, he is often referred to as Morgoth Bauglir. Bauglir is a Sindarin name, meaning the constrainer. He sets his sights on the elves that didn't make the journey to Valinor. The Sindar, under King Thingol, live in Doriath. Círdan and the Teleri live at Falas, and Denethor and the Nandor live in Osiriand. Morgoth moves against these elves in the year of the trees 1497, sending his army of orcs to surround Thingol in Doriath.
Holy
Thingol
shit.
Manages to contact Denethor, who comes to their aid. The orcs of Morgoth, caught between two armies of elves, are defeated. As the orcs flee north, they are unexpectedly routed by the dwarves of Mount Dolmed.
Damn.
The orcs on the western front continue to besiege Círdan's elves at the havens of Falas for the following few months, until the coming of the Noldor would draw them away. Speaking of the Noldor, with the world in darkness, Feanor leads the Noldor to rebel.
So I have to say too, they got routed by dwarves here. So I was under the impression that at this time, perhaps only like the Valdor and maybe the elves existed. But it looks like the dwarves also exist here too. So I'm assuming all the races must exist at this point. Maybe I don't know exactly. I don't want to misspeak, right? But at least the dwarves and the elves do. When did the dwarves get here? Have they kind of always been here alongside the elves? They just kind of had less prominence kind of thing. and then maybe like humans will come later, and like all the rest of the races will come later. Orcs obviously exist because of Morgoth here, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Would draw them away. Speaking of the Noldor, with the world in darkness, Feanor
I'm sure it'll
leaves
explain
the
it.
Noldor to rebel against the Valar. Many of those following Feanor take part in the kinslaying, in which many Teleri are killed so that Feanor may claim their ships. They sail east to Beleriand, landing at Losgар. When Feanor burns the ships, it not only signals to Fingolfin that he and the rest of the Noldor are now stranded in Aman, but also draws the attention of Morgoth. In a preemptive strike, he sends forth a force of orcs and werewolves, which passes
Werewolves,
through the
damn,
arid
dude.
woodland and attacks the elves. Though the orcs greatly outnumber the Noldor, the elves possess great power within them, thanks to the light of Valinor. They defeat Morgoth's force. The orcs retreat across the plain of Ardgallen and back toward Angband.
This place just looks
At
like a
this time,
fucking
the orcs that
wasteland
had
up here,
besieged
man.
Círdan come north to aid
No
their
trees,
allies.
no nothing, no
However,
rivers.
They are pushed back to the Fen of Serek. In total, very few orcs survive the 10-day battle. Feanor pursues this small group to the Dor Daedeloth, the land of the Shadow of Horror. There, the Balrogs come out from Thangorodrim.
Oh shit.
Feanor fights valiantly against these demons of Morgoth, but is separated from his sons and is fatally wounded by Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs.
Lord of
The armies his
Balrogs,
sons
oh my
would reach him
god.
just in time to drive off the Balrogs, but Morgoth's
There's a
enemies
lord-
die of his wound.
Bro, there's a Lord of Balrogs? I had no idea. I thought like Balrogs were just like single-minded like entities bound to someone's will. No, these fuckers have like a hierarchy and shit. Holy fuck, yeah. So Balrogs really are just like demons, right? So demons, greater demons, and then they're under the command of like a lord in a sense, right? And in this case, that's Morgoth, I guess. Like their summoner, right? They really do possess like, man, the Valar really do like seem like gods in their own right. Like I don't know, gods, titans. What would you more call them? Their own race? Am I just like overthinking them? They seem so fucking powerful with the shit that they've been able to do, and what they're able to keep together, what they're able to spawn. So somebody let me know exactly what I guess they'd be classed as, because I'd be curious to know.
Would reach him just in time to drive off the Balrogs, but Morgoth's enemy would die of his wounds soon after. This conflict would come to be known as the Dagor Nuin Gileath, the Battle Under Stars, as it takes place prior to the creation of the sun and moon. With his father dead, Maethrost is now the High King of the Noldor. Morgoth sends an offer of peace to Maethrost, even saying he will surrender a Silmaril. Maethrost does not trust the Dark Lord and brings a force with him to the meeting.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Sends an even greater force and captures Maethrost,
Interesting.
the sole survivor of his group. Morgoth tells the Noldor to leave Beleriand and forsake their war against him. However, the sons of Feanor are bound to their oath to make war on anyone who should withhold the Silmarils from them. Morgoth hangs Maethrost upon a precipice of Thangorodrim by the wrist of his right hand, and there he would hang for the next 30 years.
Jesus.
The rest of the Noldor arrive around the time the sun and the moon are created by the Valar, making this year one
sun
of
and the
first age
moon.
of Middle-earth.
Oh.
This group is led by
So we're kind of caught up now. Year one of the first age of Middle-earth. So only now have the Valar created the sun and the moon. So has it just been like eternal fucking darkness like until now? How's the world been lit? Is it, I'm actually curious. Like that's interesting because he said like now years are kind of the same. It's not 9.5 to every one. It's 1 to 1 now, starting at the first age. And it all starts with this. Okay, interesting. So after he got captured there, his people are coming to rescue him. Okay.
making this year one of the first age of Middle-earth. This group is led by Feanor's half-brother and Galadriel's uncle,
His half-brother.
Fingolfin.
Galadriel's
who will
uncle,
become
damn.
Morgoth's next challenger. In the year 5 of the First Age, Fingolfin's son, Fingon, with the help of Thorondor, the Lord of the Great Eagles, rescues Maethros from Thangorodrim. Maethros renounces his claim to the kingship of the Noldor, and Fingolfin is made the new High King. Over the coming years, Morgoth's spies believe that as the elves are making their settlements, they aren't prepared for military conflict. Morgoth sends out an army of orcs to attack. The main host attacks Dorthonion, while smaller groups go through Maglor's Gap and the Pass of Sirion. The Noldor, however, were anything but unprepared. While the orcs in the east and west are destroyed by smaller elven forces, Fingolfin in the west and Maethros in the east strike back at the main host of the invading orc army. Most of Morgoth's force is defeated there in Dorthonion, with a small remnant fleeing toward Angband. The elves chase them down, and there, within the sight of Thangorodrim itself,
Fuck, they just keep harrying orcs back there, dude.
The remaining orcs.
Damn.
This battle is known as the Dagor Agreleb, the Glorious Battle, as it is a huge victory for the elves. The Noldor set as much a border around Morgoth's land as possible.
I was gonna say, this whole fucking wasteland area up here must just be a fucking boneyard of orcs, dude. Like, straight up. Like, there just must be so many corpses in between, like, this stretch of mountain range here, all between. Like, it's probably just battleground after battleground. Balrogs have fought here. Everything's fought here. The Valar have fought here. So much shit has taken place up here. So much warfare has taken place up here. I can't imagine, like, taking a fucking, like, what would you call it? Like a metal detector through this area, bro. Probably fucking, it'd light up like a Christmas tree. The amount of shit you'd find, like metal in the ground, swords and shit, weapons, skulls. Oh my God.
Possible. Thus beginning the 400-year siege of Angband. During this time, Morgoth comes to realize orcs alone will not defeat the Noldor, so he devises new creatures of evil, the dragons. The first of these is Glaurung, who emerges without Morgoth's permission in 260 of the First Age.
Okay.
Despite an initial...
That's very interesting. So he creates the again, I always assumed dragons were just like a creature in the world of Lord of the Rings, right? In Tolkien's universe, I thought they were just an independent creature out and about doing their own thing, right? Have always existed. No, Morgoth I guess he made them. So, and this one kind of escaped his fortress without his permission. I wonder how large it was. I hear, like, you know, Smaug is massive, obviously. We see Smaug in The Hobbit. Smaug is gigantic. But I hear he's tiny compared to some of the other ones. So this one might be ginormous. Let's hear a little bit.
Without Morgoth's permission in 260 of the First Age. Despite an initial success, the young dragon is humbled by the elven archers and forced to flee back to Angband.
Okay.
Nearly 200 years later, however, as Glaurung is grown to his full might,
200 years later,
forth great rivers of fire over Ardgallen, burning many elves stationed throughout the land. As the elves are in disarray, Glaurung leads a force of Balrogs and an army of orcs, killing all in their sight.
Jesus.
This battle can be looked at on two fronts, the east and the west. In the west, Galadriel's brothers Angrod and Agnor are killed fighting for their home realm of Dorthonion. Finrod, her last remaining sibling and lord of Nargothrond, would have been killed as he is surrounded at the fen of Serek, but a group of men led by Barahir, a lord of the House of Beor, comes to their aid. Finrod would later give him a ring as a token of the everlasting friendship between their families, the Ring of Barahir, which would one day pass to Aragorn. In the end, the elves and men are able to keep the western realms of Hithlum.
So men do exist too. So somebody let me know, because I was curious about this earlier. Somebody let me know when all the races were created. Were they always there since the start of things? Or did they gradually come to evolve, come to be as time went on? Somebody let me know, because by the First Age, men exist here. I didn't hear any reference to men before, other than like when Morgoth got imprisoned, or Melkor, I guess, got imprisoned at that time, and it mentioned like no one can escape here, Valar, elves or men kind of thing. It referenced men there, so I was like, okay, maybe men exist, but there was no like reference to them on the map at all. So when did all these races come to exist? Somebody let me know. I'd be interested in checking that out sometime. If there is a video on that, maybe. Who knows? Let me know in the comments.
Aragorn. In the end, the elves and men are able to keep the western realms of Hithlum safe. In the east, things do not go so well.
Oh no.
This battle, known as the Dagor Bragollach, the Battle of Sudden Flame, not only costs many...
The dragon emerges and fucks everybody.
It also breaks the siege of Angband.
Yeah.
And allows Morgoth's forces to move freely throughout the north of Beleriand. Orcs take control...
Although I'm just saying, the siege of Angband, motherfuckers, you had 200 years to siege this fucker down and you couldn't do it, okay? Your siege sucks. I'm just saying. Gotta get better at siegecraft, because 200 years for a siege, you know, 3 to 4 years, you know, 10 years, okay, sure. But, you know, 200 years. Listen, I get what they're up against. I get Balrogs, I get orcs. I get it, right? But, you know, you got the Valar coming over, you got the elves coming over. Like, come on. 200 years for a siege, get better. Plain and simple. Be better.
Control of the lands of Lothlin, including the important positions.
How many people did I just trigger by saying that?
Glaurung burns the lands between the arms of Gelion, and the Thargelion and Lake Helivorn are ravaged by Morgoth's forces. With many refugees fleeing to places like Doriath and Hithlum, the elves abandon their realm of Dorthonion, which becomes known as Tar Nufuin, Forest Under Nightshade. After a year of smaller battles, the High King Fingolfin gets word of the devastation the war has wrought in Dorthonion and Lothlin. Seeing what he believes could be the utter ruin of the Noldor, he rides in anger across the scorched land of Anfauglith, coming to the very door of Angband to confront Morgoth.
Interesting.
Thus he came alone to Angband's gates, and he sounded his horn and smote once more upon the brazen doors, and challenged Morgoth to come forth to single combat. And Morgoth came. That was the last time in those wars that he passed the doors of his stronghold, and it is said that he took not the challenge willingly, for alone of the Valar he knew fear. But he could not now deny the challenge before the face of his captains, for Fingolfin named Morgoth Craven. Therefore Morgoth issued forth, clad in black armor, and he stood before the king like a tower.
So all you had to do, to fight Morgoth one-on-one was to call him a bitch, and he'd come and fight you, because then you're like challenging his honor, right, in front of his captains. It's like, I'm no pussy, you know, look at the success we're having here, we're winning the war, you know, and he can't look bad in front of his captains, Sauron especially, all of them, right, the Balrogs, all that shit, right? You can't look weak, right? Our power comes from the impression of our power. Now he is ultra fucking powerful, don't get me wrong, but that is also kind of a part of it, right? That being said, curious that no one else has done that, even in desperation. Like when Buddy got strung up by his wrist, fuck, I challenge you to one-on-one combat. Did he not try that one? Did it not work? Or did he just not call him a bitch hard enough? I don't know.
Issued forth,
who knows?
Clad in black armor, and he stood before
Let's see how this fight goes.
Like a tower, iron crowned, and his vast shield, sable emblazoned, cast a shadow over him like a storm cloud.
Yeah, this guy looks fucked.
But Fingolfin gleamed beneath it as a star, for his mail was overlaid with silver, and his blue shield was set with crystals, and he drew his sword Ringil, that glittered like ice. Then Morgoth hurled aloft Grond, the hammer of the underworld.
Look how big this fucker is.
Down like a bolt of thunder, but Fingolfin sprang aside, and Grond rent a mighty pit in the earth. Many times Morgoth essayed to smite him, and each time Fingolfin leaped away, and he wounded Morgoth with 7 wounds, and 7 times Morgoth gave a cry of anguish, whereat the hosts of Angband...
I'm watching this and it's like, oh yeah, he's dodging and like weaving, dodging out of his like massive like mace strikes. I just imagine like Dark Souls music coming over and just like, you know what I mean? This is straight up just a Dark Souls fight, like straight up 100% with like the dodge, the parries and shit like that. Yeah, you know how big the enemy is. Absolutely, Dark Souls bite, Dark Souls fight. Holy shit!
And each time Fingolfin leaped away, and he wounded.
Need that like high gothic like music come over.
Morgoth gave a cry of anguish, whereat the hosts of Angband fell upon their faces in dismay, and the cries echoed in the Northlands.
Should have definitely got some Dark Souls OST for this. That's all I'm saying.
Bore down his shield.
No, it's good though. I like this.
Thrice he was crushed to his knees, and thrice rose again, and bore up his broken shield and stricken helm. But the earth was all pitted around him, and he stumbled and fell backward before the feet of Morgoth. And Morgoth set his left foot upon his neck. Yet with his last and desperate stroke, Fingolfin hewed the foot with Ringil, and the blood gushed forth, black and smoking, and filled the pits of Grond. As he wounds the Dark Lord, Fingolfin dies. While he's victorious, Morgoth would not escape this battle unscathed. As he breaks the body of Fingolfin, he intends to feed it to his wolves. However, in that moment, Thorondor, the Lord of the Great Eagles, flies in and claws the face of Morgoth. He takes the body of Fingolfin and sets it upon a mountaintop, overlooking the hidden city of Gondolin.
Now I'm just saying that's a little disrespectful. Like, listen, to be fair to Morgoth, he won the 1v1 straight up. He beat the 1v1. The second the 1v1's over, some eagles come in and fucking claw him from behind. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? I just beat your challenger. Fuck off. Like, come on, can we not have like 30 seconds of like intermission after the fight's over and now it's back on for real, guys? Like, damn, little dishonorable from the Alvasir is what I will say.
And sets it upon a mountain.
He beat him fair and square, I'm just saying.
The city of Gondolin.
He challenged him, he lost.
Learns of his father's deeds from the Great Eagle and builds a cairn over Fingolfin. Morgoth is scarred from Thorondor's attack and forever bears a limp from the wound of Fingolfin's blade. 10 years later, in 466, two others would come to Angband, Beren and Luthien. When Beren, a man, and Luthien, an elf, wished to be married, Luthien's father, King Thingol of Doriath, declares that Beren may only have his daughter's hand if Beren succeeds in reclaiming a Silmaril from Morgoth's crown.
That's a fucking insane challenge.
Just that. And
what kind of suicide mission?
Dungeons of Sauron like... and Tolan Gawroth by Luthien and Huan the Hound. The three make their way to Angband, disguised by the power of Luthien. They enter the very throne room of Morgoth, and as the Dark Lord is about to order them seized, Luthien weaves a spell and begins to dance. The spell puts Morgoth and his entire court into a deep sleep. Beren approaches Morgoth. Using his knife, he cuts a Silmaril from the Iron Crown. He decides to retrieve all three Silmarils, but as he is cutting a second loose, the knife breaks and a shard strikes Morgoth in the face. As the court begins to stir, Beren and Luthien flee for their lives. Now I'll be covering the life of Beren and Luthien.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, yeah, if you're there and you're recovering one, why don't you just fucking take all three? Like, why would you just take one and leave? No, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so they could only take one. They tried to take more, genuinely. That's not like an oversight. Like, they did try to take more, but it just wasn't possible. Okay, good. Clever writing. I like that.
Sir, Beren and Luthien flee for their lives. Now, I'll be covering the life of Beren and Luthien in next week's video, but this particular Silmaril is never brought back to Morgoth, though it would cause further conflict with the Dark Lord and within the forces of his enemies. It is upon hearing
shit is kind of crazy that a human
that two alone
and a elf
successfully
and a dog managed to do that
from Angband that moves Mithras in 468 to create an alliance to attack Morgoth. In 469,
I imagine that would be so emboldening to hear just some like two fuckers just wandered on in there and took one. Like after everything that's happened, like two people like, hey, yeah, you want to marry my daughter? Yeah, go get a gem from fucking Morgoth, loser. Fucking does it. Oh, how did you manage that? I just walked in, put them to sleep, took it, walked out. Oh, okay. Well, not only can you bang my daughter, but now we're gonna go and fucking assault that fort again because clearly Morgoth is a bitch. He's not what he was. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Like, what? Yeah, no, this would totally be emboldening to the enemies of Morgoth and emboldening to even people within his own court. You know, with a show of weakness that this was able to happen. Damn.
468 to create an alliance to attack Morgoth. In 469, Morgoth sends forth a wind from Angband. It comes to the lands that border Anfauglith, in particular the lands to the west, like Dorlomin. This plague, known as the Evil Breath, particularly affects the young, and many die from it, including Lalaith, the 3-year-old daughter of Hurin, the Lord of Dorlomin. The men of Dorlomin would join many others in the Union of Mithras, and in 472, fight in what would be one of the most important conflicts of the First Age, the Nirnaeth Arnoediad, the Battle of Unnumbered.
I almost wonder if that's like a reference to, it's not off related topic, but I almost wonder if that plague is a reference to like Spanish flu, you know, targeting the young extraordinarily more so, you know, and I know Spanish flu targeted everybody, right? But obviously killed a lot, you know, more younger people than anyone else because their immune systems are worse. I wonder if that's almost a reference to that at this time period, you know, somebody let me know.
Of the First Age, the Nirnaeth Arnoediad, the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. The Union of Mithras consists of two armies, one in the west, one in the east. In the west, Fingon leads the Noldor of Hithlum, Hurin and Huor lead the Edain of Dorlomin, Haldir, the man, not the elf of the Third Age, leads the Edain of Brethil, Gwyndor leads the elves of Nargothrond, and there were also a few scattered elves from Falas and Doriath, including Mablung and Beleg Strongbow. In the east,
I'll be honest, I'm going to be really
his
bad at
southern
remembering
coast.
all these names,
They are
but
joined by
I'm going to try
Azagal
my best.
And the dwarves of Belegost. They also had 2 groups of men with them, who had recently relocated to Beleriand after the Dagor Bragalach. These men, known as Easterlings, are under the command of their leaders Bor and Uldor. The plan is simple. The forces of the east would march to Anfauglith. Their hope is that Morgoth would respond by sending his armies to meet them. The western host would remain hidden in the woods and valleys east of the arid Wethrin. There they would await a signal. A great beacon in Dorthonion would fire, at which point the western host would charge, and they would crush the forces of Morgoth, as if caught between hammer and anvil. As Maithros leads his force to Anfauglith, a dark cloud gathers around Thangorodrim. Morgoth has accepted the challenge. As the western host waits, they are joined unexpectedly by a host of 10,000 elves, led by Turgon, brother of Fingon and king of the hidden city of Gondolin.
Gondolin, okay.
Increased, the outlook is promising for the union of Maithros. However, in that very hour, Morgoth implements his plan. A great host issues from Angband to meet Maithros.
We're going to send a million orcs at them. Fuck it.
West with the task of provoking the western army.
Holy shit.
Fingon orders his troops to hold until the orcs attempt to attack the hills on which they stand. At this point, the orcs bring forth Gelmir, the brother of Gwyndor. Having been already blinded, his arms and legs are hewn from his body.
Damn.
Filled with rage, Gwyndor and his soldiers charge at the orcs. Fingon's force follows, and they quickly defeat the smaller host and strike upon the very gates of Angband. In this moment, Morgoth once again knows fear, shaking upon his throne as Gwyndor's elves pound on the gates and kill his guards. However, the Dark Lord's trap was now sprung. Thousands of orcs erupt from hidden tunnels and gates around Angband, killing the entire force, with the exception of Gwyndor, who is captured.
See, this was a strategic flaw, right? The second they broke through that smaller force and had the advantage instead of going for a siege, I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to put an end to the fight quickly, quote unquote, but they still had forces in the south that were completely caught up, being overrun, being attacked. If they just simply pulled a flanking maneuver, eradicated this force entirely, then moved on the fort, they'd be in so much better of a position to take on this flank here. This was a kind of an oversight, a strategic oversight. Tactically, they absolutely won. Strategically, yeah, Morgoth has got them by the balls. They're falling for every trap that he's put in place here.
Killing the entire force, with the exception of
also
Gwyndor,
the advantage of that comes with being a defender too, to be fair.
Back from the walls. Turgon, who had held back from the reckless charge of Gwyndor, drives into the orc host.
Reckless charge, so yeah, strategic oversight, smart writing again.
Finally, Maithros arrives at what is now the main concentration of the battle. However, before he can join with Fingon and Turgon, Morgoth unleashes the last of his strength. All of Angband is emptied as wolves, Balrogs, and dragons join the fray. Though daunting, it is said in this moment the battle could still have been won, but for Morgoth,
that's crazy to say.
Uldor and his group of Easterlings turn against Maithros. While the Easterlings under Bor would remain faithful to the elves, the damage has been done.
Interesting.
With assault coming from 3 sides,
turncoat Easterlings
scattered. The valiant dwarves of Belegost hold off Glaurung, allowing the sons of Feanor to escape into Osirian.
Retreat!
As the dwarves in their iron masks fight the dragon and his fire, Azagal is trampled by Glaurung. The dying king stabs the dragon in the stomach with a dagger, and Glaurung and many others flee. The western host fared no better.
So the dwarves fucking got eradicated there. That sucks.
And kills him in single combat. Seeing the battle is lost, Hurin begs Turgon to retreat back to Gondolin. With Fingon dead, he knows Turgon is the last of the house of Fingolfin. If the land of Gondolin can remain hidden, and the son of Fingon who had maimed him survived, Morgoth would still know fear. Hurin and Huor and the men of Dorlomin form a living wall across the fen of Serek.
Fuck.
Giving time for Turgon to escape with what remains of the
Make the ultimate sacrifice.
And those who followed his brother. Nearly every single man is killed.
Yeah,
Huor
wow.
is killed when shot in the eye with an arrow, and Hurin fights to the very last. As Morgoth had been ordered to be taken alive, Hurin continues fighting until his axe withers away.
Mountain of fucking
Total,
corpses.
he kills at least
Wow.
70 orcs and trolls before being pinned under their corpses.
Jesus.
The orcs make a pile of bodies on the plains of Anfauglith of the men and elves that were killed. The mound was so large it could be seen from a great distance. Thereafter, grass grew on that hill alone in all the desolation of Anfauglith, and it is known as the Haud en Nirnaeth,
The Hill of Tears. Wow.
The Nirnaeth Arnoediad is a devastating loss for the elves, men, and dwarves of Middle-earth.
Yeah, no shit.
In the years and decades to
They got
come,
fucking trounced there,
it will often
dude.
be referred to with great sadness and acknowledging this as the moment when Morgoth assumed his control over the entire north of Beleriand.
Yeah.
Soon he will press his advantage
Absolutely.
even further. But first, he will lay a curse upon his prized captive, Hurin, that will shape the world for years to come. In the aftermath of the Nirnaeth Arnoediad, a massive victory for the Dark Lord, the northern lands of the elves and men are now under Morgoth's control.
Right.
Turgon, now High King of the Noldor, and his hidden city of Gondolin,
No contestation
stand
from
as the
anyone
only
now.
reason
He's
for
got
Morgoth
it.
to doubt his odds for total conquest.
Oh, yeah.
In the aftermath of the Nirnaeth, Morgoth takes his captive Hurin to a seat in the high places of Thangorodrim and pronounces a curse upon him and his family. I am the Elder King,
Children of Hurin.
Melkor, first and mightiest of the Valar, who was before the world and made it. The shadow of my purpose lies upon Arda, and all that is in it bends slowly and surely to my will. But upon all whom you love, my thought shall weigh as a cloud of doom. I shall bring them down into darkness and despair. Wherever they go, evil shall arise. Whenever they speak, their words shall bring ill counsel. Whatsoever they do shall turn against them. They shall die without hope.
Love the dialogue, man.
Both life and death. This last I say to you, Thrall Morgoth, said
Thrall.
Hurin, and it
Wow.
comes not from the lore of the Eldar, but is put into my heart this hour. You are not the Lord of men and shall not be, though all Arda and Menel fall in your dominion. Beyond the circles of the world you shall not pursue those who refuse you. Beyond the circles of the world I will not pursue them, said Morgoth. For beyond the circles of the world there is nothing, but within them they shall not escape me until they enter into nothing.
That goes pretty hard.
I, said Hurin. You shall see and you shall confess.
You shall
that
see.
I do not lie,
Wow.
said Morgoth. And taking Hurin back to Angband, he set him in a chair of stone upon a high place.
I don't lie. I
Thangorodrim,
just
from which he could
talking
see
riddles.
afar the
That's all I
land
do.
of Hithlum in the west and the lands of Beleriand in the south. There
I
he
talk
was
to
bound by the
confused. You
power of
understand?
Morgoth.
I don't lie.
And Morgoth, standing beside him, cursed him again and set his power upon him, so that he could not move from that place or die until Morgoth should release him. Sit now there, said Morgoth, and look out upon the lands where evil and despair shall come upon those whom you have delivered to me. For you have dared to mock me, and have questioned the power of Melkor, master of the fates of Arda. Therefore with my eyes you shall see, and with my ears you shall hear, and nothing shall be hidden from you. As I mentioned earlier, Morgoth now has
Is he wearing some aviators there? Now, maybe I'm wrong. Why does it look like he's wearing like a pair of aviators in that picture? Do you guys see that? Is that just me? Looks kind of baller.
You. As I mentioned
Damn.
earlier, Morgoth now has complete dominion
Sorry,
over the north
just-
of Beleriand. He gives to the Easterlings that served him the lands of Hithlum, denying them the more fertile lands to the south which he had promised them. Many of the elves and men that had remained in Hithlum are sent as thralls to work the mines of Angband. In
Damn.
473, a year after the Nirnaeth Arnoediad, Morgoth's forces attack and destroy the havens of Falas. Círdan and his people flee to the mouth of Sirion. In the coming years, Morgoth's forces would continue to overthrow realms of men and elves.
Jesus.
Though Turin, son of Hurin,
This is all in the first age. Crazy.
in particular, would cause much trouble to his orcs. In 489, his orcs defeat the pair when they sack their hideout at Aman-Ruth.
Very insane just how much history there is here. Like, I love Tolkien's universe for that world. Because, like, again, to know that the world is, like, fucked here in the first age and then where it ends up in the third age, you know, damn, like, just, you know, crazy to see.
489, his orcs defeat the pair when they sack their hideout at Aman-Ruth. We'll go into much greater detail on Turin's life in his own video, but we'll mention a couple things as they pertain to Morgoth and his campaign against the realms that remain standing. Through a tragic accident, Turin kills Beleg, mistaking him for an orc. Turin then comes to Nargothrond.
How do you mistake him for an orc?
Where he becomes an advisor
What the
to
fuck?
King Orodreth. At Turin's behest, Orodreth ignores the advice of the Vala Ulmo, saying to destroy the bridge and fortify the city.
Okay.
Instead, Turin opts for open war with the armies of Angband. Morgoth sends out Glaurung the dragon once again with a force of orcs. They defeat the army of Nargothrond and sack the city. 10 years later, in 499, after a life of deeds gone awry by the curse of Morgoth, Turin kills himself upon his own sword. This victory would come at a great cost to the Dark Lord, however, as Turin had first killed the dragon Glaurung at Kabed and Ada.
Oh shit.
Not far from the crossing of Teglin. After the death of Turin and his sister Nienor, Morgoth releases Hurin, but the curse would yet follow him. Hurin travels about Beleriand searching for his kin, eventually discovering his wife at the graves of his children.
Oh wow.
His wife dies, and after burying her, Hurin comes to Nargothrond, where he discovers the Nauglamir, a great necklace made by the dwarves. He takes
That's
it to
really
Doriath,
sad. He
where
finally
in
gets
his anger
loose.
that Thingol had not
He finally gets, like, loose, and at the graves of his kids, he meets his old wife, and then she dies. That's really sad, man. Feel bad for that guy. Holy shit, he's been through a lot, and his whole family's cursed now. His whole bloodline's cursed. Damn, dude.
necklace made by the dwarves. He takes it to Doriath, where, in his anger that Thingol had not better cared for his son, he throws it down in front of the king. This would be yet another example of the evil and shadow of Morgoth having a far reach, as his curse would result in yet another realm's downfall. Thingol takes the Nauglamir and tasks a group of dwarves with setting the Silmaril of Baron
What a beautiful crown, holy
within
shit.
the necklace. The dwarves come to covet their creation and kill Thingol, leading to the sack of Menegroth in 503.
Holy shit.
Just a few years later, the Oath of Feanor would rear its ugly
So
head
you see
again,
some infighting between
as
the
Sons of
races now.
Feanor, driven
Wow.
by their oath, take part in the second kinslaying in an effort to reclaim the Silmaril from their fellow elves. This would result in the kingdom of Doriath being completely destroyed, and yet another of Morgoth's enemies is removed.
Yeah.
The Silmaril, however,
You see just how good he is at like playing the races against each other, doing the work for him, right? Weakening themselves for him. And all, you know, again, he's pretty much immortal. He's got all the time in the world. He just needs to outlast everyone else, right? So like, you know, if he can set up fights between these other races, get them to eradicate each other, then he can just swoop in and claim it all at the end.
and
Good
yet
plan.
another of Morgoth's enemies is removed. The
Really a
Silmaril,
smart
however,
plan, to be
would
honest
invade
with you.
both the Sons of Feanor and
Playing his
Morgoth.
advantage very well.
Elwing, the daughter of King Dior, is among those who escaped to the havens of Sirion when she is just 4 years old. Meanwhile, in the north of Beleriand stood the one last bastion of hope for the free peoples, Gondolin.
Gondolin? Yeah.
Outside of the hidden city, Meglin, one of the elves of Gondolin, is captured by orcs and brought to Angband. Morgoth promises Meglin the kingship of Gondolin and the hand of Idril, the woman he loves. All he must do is reveal the secret location of the city. In the greatest betrayal of the First Age, Meglin agrees.
Really?
And Morgoth finally has the information he has long sought.
What a bitch. Like, I'm just saying right now, dude, the amount of like, listen, I get it, right? Like, you know, a good woman and maybe that good, how do you say, that good bussy is fucking very, very, very nice to have, you know what I'm saying? But damn, dude, like the amount of people giving all of it up just for that one girl, man. Like, listen, I get it, but also, holy shit, like this is you're giving up, like this is the ultimate betrayal. How many fucking thousands of people live in this city, you know, and not even people, elves, like good elves, you know what I'm saying? Crazy shit. I think they need to, you know, I'm not trying to say anything, and you know, I don't know how it stands in Middle Earth, but bro, these guys got to learn to use their hand a little bit more. Stop thinking with their dick, you know? Like, holy shit.
Agrees, and Morgoth finally has the information he has long sought. In 510, as the Gondolodrim are celebrating the festival of the Gates of Summer, they gather to watch the sunrise over the mountains. However, rather than seeing light arise in the east,
a dragon fucking comes to ruin them.
The armies of Morgoth, orcs, wolves, dragons, balrogs, and other creatures descend upon the city. While Gothmog would fall in battle, it is an overwhelming victory for the Dark
turncoat.
Lord. King Turgon, the Lord Ecthelion, Glorfindel, and the vast majority of the population are killed in the battle.
Jesus.
Gondolin, the last hope of the elves, is no more. One of the very few survivors,
and all
is
for some
7-year-old
pussy,
elf,
am I right?
Arendil, who, along with the others, would make his way south to the havens of Sirion. There, he would meet Elwing. Decades later, they would be married and have twin sons, Elrond and Elros. 6 years later, the sons of Feanor would once again be led by their oath to slay their own kin. That's
in the first age.
Elrond
Wow.
escapes with the Silmaril
Elrond is old as
on her
fuck.
husband's ship as they sail to the west, in a stroke that would change the fortunes of the world. They come to Valinor, and Arendil pleads with the Valar. And Arendil went into Valinor and to the halls of Valimar, and never again set foot upon the lands of men. Then the Valar took counsel together, and they summoned Ulmo from the depths of the sea. And Arendil stood before their faces and delivered the errand of the two kindreds. Pardon he asked for the Noldor, and pity for their great sorrows, and mercy upon men and elves, and succor in their need. And his prayer was granted. The Valar send forth a great host of Valinor, which lands in Beleriand.
Are the Valinor about to come clean house here?
In the host are the Vanyar, led by Ingwion, the Noldor of Valinor under Finarfin, Eonwe, the chief of the Maiar, and possibly other Maiar, and even some Valar. It is said that the whole power of the throne of Morgoth is assembled. The armies of Morgoth are uncountable.
Literally.
The mountains rang underneath the boots of the Valar. The entire north of
Holy
Beleriand
shit, so they're
is
back and
aflame
forth
with
now.
war for 42 years.
Oh my god.
In the final years of the battle, Morgoth is facing defeat. In his final act of desperation, he summons the winged dragons, never before seen in Middle-earth. The dragons are led by Ancalagon the Black, the largest and most powerful dragon to ever live.
So every other dragon before now has not had wings. Interesting. So it's more of like a huge fucking lizard. It doesn't have wings, you know, it doesn't like, you know, fly in any degree. This is the first time winged dragons, so like Smaug and all of them are coming to power. So I'm guessing Smaug was probably created around this time too, or maybe after, I'm not too sure, but look how fucking big this one is. Holy shit, he is massive, man. That puts Balerion the Black to fucking shame almost with how huge he is, dude. Holy shit.
Ancalagon the Black, the largest and most powerful dragon to ever live.
I like how it's always like Carrion the Black, Balerion the Black. You know, it's always something the black, you know, with the dragon.
So many of the battles that had come before against the Dark Lord. It is in this moment when Arendil, wearing the Silmaril upon his brow, arrives in his ship. The ship, having been blessed by the Valar, sails not the seas, but the skies.
What the fuck?
With Arendil is Thorondor and flocks of the great eagles. Together they battle.
The laser beams this dragon out of the sky.
In the end, Arendil kills Ancalagon.
Holy shit!
Who breaks the tower?
Bro, that picture.
In the end,
straight up, is he? Are they straight up laser beaming these dragon fucking? They just fucking like beam of lighting these motherfuckers down. Holy shit, that's some shit. I mean, that's what you got to do. To be fair, how else do you beat something like this? You know, you need some fucking etheric knowledge to come in here and clutch it up. Like straight up, like this is the end times, man. This straight up makes like the Rings of Power, like the whole war that Elrond fucking fights later in Lord of the Rings, makes it look like a little bit of bitch work almost. It feels like, or prior to Lord of the Rings, I guess I should say, makes it feel like bitch work fighting Sauron, dude. Like Morgoth, it just seems like the stakes are so much higher. It seems like this is so much more intense, the shit that's happened here. Maybe I'm wrong, but damn.
Arendil kills Encalagon, who breaks the towers of Thangorodrim in his ruin. As the host of Valinor retakes the battlefield and defeats his army force by force, Morgoth flees to the deepest dungeons of Angband. There he is caught, but being weak from the war, he demands peace and parley rather than fight. But his feet are hewn from under him. Morgoth falls upon the floor where he is bound once again in the chain of Aule. The 2 Silmarils are taken from him and he is thrust through the door of night and into the timeless void.
Holy
While
shit.
Morgoth is removed from Beleriand, his effects are far from gone. As a
They
result
throw him out of the
most
world. Get the
Beleriand
fuck out of
is
here.
destroyed.
Holy
The
shit.
wreckage of the war is so great that soon after,
Oh my God.
all of the lands west of the arid Luin, along with a central portion of the Blue Mountains, sink into the sea. Many of the elves make the journey back to Aman, while some, such as Galadriel, Gil-galad, Círdan, and
Yeah, the map
Elrond,
looks so
travel
different.
east. There, in the ages to come, they would face a new Dark Lord, Sauron, the lieutenant of Morgoth, who had fled to the east. As for the
Right.
original Dark Lord, he would not be heard from again in recorded history. However, it is prophesied that Morgoth will one day break the door of night, and there shall be one final battle, the Dagor-Dagorath, the battle of all battles, a final confrontation between good and evil on the very plains of Valinor. Tolkien wrote many versions regarding the Dagor-Dagorath, leaving some details up for debate and speculation, including the idea that it would be Turin who would deal the final blow, killing Morgoth himself and avenging the children of Húrin. In the end, the lands of Beleriand will be lifted up from the sea and the world rebuilt.
Damn,
with the
dude.
dwarves helping their creator Aule in doing.
Yeah, so crazy to think all this fucking just sunk, man. Like straight up. It's nuts to think about how big the world fucking is. Because then like the Shire and everything we know is like over here, right? Damn.
So, the dwarves will then be counted among the children of Ilúvatar, and then shall take place the second song of the Ainur, this time with the children of Ilúvatar joining in the music, ushering in a new world. As always, I want to say a huge thank you to
That was
all
awesome.
my Patreon
Wow.
and YouTube supporters who make this channel possible. Tom DeBombadil19, Lissamy the Simple,
DeBombadil.
Rabbi Rob Thomas,
Fucking love that name, dude. It's funny to say.
Red Team, Joe Tepper, Leo Vittori, Sky Carcass, Slide Belts, Dane Ragnarsson, Berto Berg, Graham Derricott, The Dark Haired One, Wyland, Micah Wu, and Debbie. If you enjoyed the artwork in this video,
guys.
check out the artists in the description to purchase prints of their great work for yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Nerd of the Rings.
Wow, guys, what an awesome video that was. That was the history of Morgoth, Tolkien explained by Nerd of the Rings. Big thank you to our Prefect Fyr once again for recommending this Friday's video. I really appreciate that. That was awesome to check out. And damn, I really enjoyed listening to that. I won't lie. I definitely prefer Morgoth to Sauron, I think, just in terms of like the scale of war going on, just how like intense the time period sounds. You have the creation of dragons, all that cool shit happening, the creation of orcs, everything going on, and it's just it sounds like such an interesting time period in Lord of the Rings history. Man, I really wish we got some more shows and stuff depicting that. Now I think Rings of Power is supposed to depict that to an extent. I haven't seen it. I don't want to misspeak. I don't know really what it's about, but I hear mixed things about it, so yeah, somebody let me know if I should watch that or not sometime. But yeah, guys, great video. This was awesome to check out. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like, subscribe for more content from me. Of course, leave your recommendations down in the comments below. Big thank you to all of our members, all of our Hastati, our Principe, Dagenhart, of course, our Prefect Fyr, and Hobbit. Appreciate you guys. You guys inspire me to make more content for you guys every single day. And with that, guys, this has been Centurion. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, guys.